How we can understand growth. Imagine there is a child, an infant, of normally 1 year of age, not able to walk, not able to talk, not able to stand properly, and gradually, when the time passes, what happens? His height increases, his age increases, his muscles increases, his weight increases. So, what are the four criterias? These are just the physical quantities that we are concerned about, isn't it? These are just the physical quantities. So what we can confirm that these two physical quantities can be considered as the quantities. We can say that these all four terms are just the quantity, and we can just relate it with economics as well. Now let me tell you how. Whenever we concern about economics is all about money, income and all. So when we talk about a particular country, that the particular country is growing, we say that the particular country's GDP or national income is growing. So we can say that the GDP or the national income of the country is growing. But what is national income, what is GDP, I'll be coming within few minutes on this topic also. Now let's talk about development. Okay, let's talk about development. So let's take the example of the very same child. But gradually when the time passes, he is able to develop his mindset. He is able to talk, he is able to make friends, he is able to take wise decisions in his life and do a lot of things. So what we can say, the quantity of that child, the mindset is the quantity. We cannot measure the mindset. An IQ level is actually the estimated value. We don't have a particular thing to measure that thing. So these are just the quality that we can consider in economics as the qualitative aspects. Now the next thing, that particular child do have some or the other wider goals in his life. So that wider goals will ultimately make him think that he wanted to become an IAS officer or engineer or go to Switzerland. Anything can be the goal of the particular child. So what we can say, the child has multiple goals in his life. Okay. Now when that multiple goals come into being, the child develops or tries to accomplish that goals. He puts a deadline to that goal and tries to accomplish it, and that leads to the development or the enhancement of the life of the child. So we can say that the development is actually the enhancement or the upgradation of life. Okay. So I think all this you have been clear with. Now coming on to the last 2 points of development. Now different goals of different people, different goal may have different development goals. How can we say? Now that particular child do have a brother also studying in class 5, and the big brother, which is the elder one, is just passed out of college. So the big brothers do have a goal of going to Switzerland, getting higher paid jobs, while the second child, which is the younger brother, is actually to have the multiple goals of being into a relaxed state, not taking tension, development goals of playing all the time PUBG or any other sort of games like soccer, cricket. A lot of development goals can be there. So we can conclude that different peoples may have different development goals. But what if different development goals may be contradicting in nature as well? Now let's understand how. When that particular child is not able to accomplish that goal, he certainly replaces that goal with some another goal. So that particular goal which was set before is being violated. Okay, so we can say that the second goal is quite contradicting towards the first goal. And here we end up with all the things that was growth and development. And I think you all would have understand the correct definition of growth and development in terms of economics. Archit sir, you are here. All the very best. Thank you sir for your comments. I was waiting for you only. Okay, let's start with economic activities and non-economic activities. Okay Shilpa ma'am, you are always there with me, and it was quite late for you to be here. Okay, great. Economic activities and non-economic activities. Now whenever you hear the word economic, a certain thing strikes to your mind that we are concerned about economy, money, which is the most important thing of your life. Without money, you cannot survive. So what are economic activities? Economic activities. So we are just concerning about those activities which do have a generation of income or money. It's quite easy, na? Now if we talk about non-economic activities, just simply vice versa. That means those activities that are not concerned about generation of income. Now we'll come upon the examples just a few minutes later. Now the second point that comes in the non-economic activity is that these activities contribute to GDP. These activities directly contribute to GDP. Okay? But in the case of non-economic activities, these do not directly contribute to GDP. Now make sure, I'm not saying that they don't contribute to GDP. These activities do contribute to GDP. Now let's learn how. For example, your parents are investing upon you. So for them, it's a non-economic activity. Okay? But gradually, when the time passes, you develop that thing in your mind that I have to do something for the country. And that thing, that perception in your brain leads to the increase of GDP of the country. Either you will do a work, either you will contribute to the government, either you will buy the goods, sell the goods. So ultimately what is happening? The GDP of the country is being increased, or national income is being increased. So we can say that non-economic activities don't directly contribute to GDP, but the initial steps that are taken by your parents, by any sort of organization like NGOs, can be considered that ultimately they will lead to the increase in GDP, but not directly. Now this topic that I gave from your mother point of view is quite contradicting, as many economists think that they should be considered as economic, they won't be considered as non-economic. So there is a hotly debated topic on this. So my motive is not to just create a debate situation over here. Now let's focus upon GDP and national income. But I think this is going quite a monotone. Now let's play a quiz with you all. So I do have 5 bunch of questions. You have to answer all of them. Determine which of the activities are economic and non-economic activities. Okay. Now the first question is mother cooking food. Mother cooking food. The question is mother cooking food is an economic activity or non-economic activities. Please do comment it down. Is it economic activity or non-economic activity? I'm waiting for your comments. Is it economic activity, non-economic? Okay, Shilpi ma'am said non-economic. Anubhav Shukla said non-economic. Arya said non-economic. Harsh non-economic. Great. You all are the active viewers of mine. You have been continuously hearing my voice. Okay. Now the second question comes. A person taking drugs. A person taking drugs is an economic activity or non-economic activities? A person taking drugs. A person taking drugs. Economic or non-economic? Archit sir said non-economic activities. Great, Archit sir. You are no more behind than others. Great. Now the third question. Okay, Shilpi ma'am also said non-economic. Great. I'm waiting for more comments to come. Guys, you can do it. Come on. Anubhav said non-economic. Harsh said non-economic. Great. Now the third question is a farmer farming for his family consumption. A farmer farming for the family consumption. Come on, guys. A farmer farming for the family consumption. Come on, you all can do it. Okay, Bhavish Sharma said non-economic activity. Mrityunjay said non-economic activity. Great. Please guys, do it as soon as possible. I need more comments at that time. Otherwise, it would be a simple conversation between you and me. I wanted to make it more interactive, and I do have some important questions for you also. Anubhav said non-economic activities. Great, you all guys are doing great job. Now the fourth question. Buying and selling of goods and services. Now this is quite an easy topic. Buying and selling of goods and services. Buying and selling of goods and services. Buying and selling of goods and services. Good morning, Avinash sir. I was waiting for you only. You are quite late. No problem. Bhavesh Sharma said economic activity. Great, Bhavesh Sharma, you are the first one to answer the correct question. Archit sir said economic. Arya said economic. Great. Okay, but the last question could be quite tricky for you. Now, a prayer to God. Now keep in mind that whenever you are praying to God, God must be happy with you and quite return with some money as well. So is it a economic activity or non-economic activity? A prayer to God. A prayer to God is an economic activity or non-economic activity. And keep in mind that God might give you some money as well. Economic activity should be answered. How, ma'am? A prayer to God is an economic activity or non-economic activity? Okay. Kali Dashan SV said no economic. Harsh said non-economic. Great. Okay. I'm waiting for some more comments to come. Is it economic activity or non-economic? Non. Alfonso Pina said non-economic activity. Great. Okay, mostly all of you are giving the right answers. Now let's come upon our second topic, that is of GDP versus national income. But before moving to the topic, I would like to show my creativity to you all. So here I have made a card for you all. If you can see, it's a type of slog. Okay, Ananya said it's non-economic activity. Shilpi ma'am said non-economic activity. Great. Okay, as you can see here, it is written GDP. It's kind of slog. Okay, and GDP comprises this much area, and national income is actually a wider concept. Now, do you think that the national income and GDP are quite different things? Okay, I said non-economic. Sorry, ma'am, I was totally okay. Arya, non-economic unless you are Lencho. Oh, okay, Arya, you are consulting with the story part. No problem. Okay, so we were talking about this. Okay, so GDP comprises this much area. But when we talk about national income, which is NI over here, it comprises a wider concept. Now how? Let's understand. Now GDP is actually all the money values of final goods and services produced within a country. Okay, it's quite easier as we know there are three sectors of economy in our nation. That is, first the primary activities, second the tertiary activities, and third the secondary activities. So these things, when the final amount or the final goods are being added to the particular thing, or when we add all these things, we get the GDP of the particular country. So as we know, it's a quite easier thing to understand, but for many economists, it's quite harder to just calculate the GDP of the country. Now when we come upon national income, what do we understand by national income? Hold it little higher. Okay, ma'am, for you. GDP, national income. Okay, so national income comprises. Okay, GDP and national income are quite different. Yes, ma'am, you are correct. They are quite different, but have some wider concepts. As I told, GDP is a total money value of final goods and services produced within a country. Now, when we talk about national income, as you can see or understand by this diagram, national income comprises GDP. It's a kind of data only. National income comprises GDP only, but then what are the external things that are coming over here that we have to learn about? Okay, thank you for Priyanka for joining. Okay, so when we talk about national income, first of all, it comprises GDP. Okay, it comprises GDP. But when we talk about that outer portion that we are concerning, is actually the abroad or the outcomes that we are, when we share some, for example, if we share goods to other country or we sold goods to another country, then what happens? In return, we get the money from them. So what is happening? Buying or selling of goods and services is happening over there. So ultimately, economy, or we can say the economic, the money could be generated. So that money which is generated for India is actually contributing to the national income of the country. But that thing is not actually included in GDP, because GDP is the gross domestic product. We can understand by the term domestic. Harsh said, wonderful session. Great. Thank you, my colleague Harsh Singh, always supporting me. Now, Quite a tricky question for you all. This is quite tricky for you. Which organization of India calculates or estimates the GDP of India? Which organization of India calculates or estimates the GDP of India? I'm waiting for your answers. Which organization of India estimates the GDP of India? Net factor income earned from abroad. Yes, ma'am, you're right. But my next question is, which organization of India estimates the GDP? CSI. Harsh, may I know the full form of CSI? Ministry of Finance. Kamala ma'am, you're right. Ministry of Finance is correct. But we do have a particular name for that. May I know that name for convenience, so that other people can also understand what is that organization we are concerning about. Ministry of Finance, Mrityunjay, you are correct. Ministry of Finance is correct. Okay, CSO and NSSO. Shilpi ma'am, you are absolutely correct. May I know the full form of CSO? May I know the full form of CSO? Okay, CSO. Come on everyone, I need more answers. I think you all have slept. Not interested in the session. Central Statistics Office. Mansi Gupta, you are absolutely correct. It is Central Statistic Office. Harsh, you are also correct. It is Central Statistic Office. Now, a next question related to this concept only. Where is its headquarters situated? Kamala ma'am, Ananya, you all are correct. Both are correct. Archit sir is also correct. My next question is, where is the headquarters of it situated? Data by NSSO. Delhi. Harsh, you are absolutely correct. It's Delhi. Bhavish Verma, Central Statistic Organization. Correct. Now, let's come upon the criteria of development. What are the basic things that you need for development? Now, understand, you have each and everything, or you don't have anything, but the most important thing that you need in your life to sustain your livelihood, what is that thing? Shauradayal, Bhavish Verma, Mrityunjay. Okay, you all are doing great. Delhi. Okay. Session is going great. Thank you, ma'am, for your support. Bhavish Verma, New Delhi. Okay, great. Mansi Gupta, Delhi. Dipanjali Srivastav, all are doing great. Archit sir, great session. Thank you, sir, for your support. Now, my next question was, which is the most important criteria for development for a particular country? The most. I said the most. Wait a little for reply. Okay, ma'am. Wait a little for reply for all replying. I guess net issues. Okay, ma'am. I'll wait for some more time now. For now. So I should repeat my question, which is the foremost important criteria for development of a country? Per capita income. Okay. Per capita income. Great, Harsh. Per capita income is absolutely correct. Waiting for average income. Kamala, you are also correct. Arya, income. Great, Arya, you are absolutely correct. Come on, guys, I need more replies. PCI, per capita income. Archit sir, living in short forms, playing with game of short forms. Okay, GDP growth. Shilpi ma'am, okay, great. Now, that the foremost important is PCI, or we can say the national income, or the income of the country, determines that the country is developed or not developed. Okay. Now, imagine that situation with those parents who are not able to celebrate the first birthday of their child. They are not able to celebrate the first birthday of the child. Just go through that situation. What if that thing happens with you? GDP growth and growth per capita income. Okay, ma'am. Okay. The thing that we are focusing next is infant mortality rate. I said you to just go on to the situation of those parents who are not able to celebrate the first birthday of their child. So ultimately, whose fault is it? Is it of government? Is it of yours? Is it of this particular child who is dead? It is actually the fault of the country which is not developed. That depicts that the health facilities in a particular country are not going quite so great. So it's very much important that health plays a very important role in development of a particular country. The health facilities. Now take the example of another country in which an average person lives a life for around 30 to 45 years. Okay, while in the another country, other person live around 80 years. Okay, average age must be between 60 to 80. So what we can say, which of the following countries would be more developed? Which of the following countries would be more developed? The countries with low life expectancy rate or countries with high life expectancy rates? Naman Bharadwaj, hi bhai, good morning bhaiya. Followed by health and education, yes ma'am. Followed by health and education. So we can say, now what is life expectancy rate? Now it is quite easy to understand. The person who is living or just extending the age, the average income, or sorry, not the average income, the average age of a person by the birth. Oh, high expectancy, yes ma'am, you're right. High expectancy rate would be, the country with high expectancy rate would be considered as the more developed nation. So we were talking about life expectancy rate. So under the normal circumstances, if an infant is able to live a long life, then it would be considered as that the country is developed and that country has a life expectancy rate. So that high expectancy rate is due to the health facilities only. If the health facilities would be quite poor, the expectancy rate would be quite low. So I think this was quite easy to understand. Now the third thing that comes is literacy. Now literacy, we all know, we all are studying, that is actually literacy. And nowadays what is due to the execution of Sarva Shiksha Abhiyan, this particular system or the health management has been come under the concurrent list. Now coming on to the last thing, that is security. Now security, if you do have money, you can hire a bodyguards for yourself for your security. But what will happen of those people who are not able to afford the bodyguards for themselves? Now criminals are all around you. You cannot distinguish who is criminal, who is actually good for your good, or nobody can understand this country responsible for development growth, or the person who is sitting at the home and begging but has ability to work is responsible for the development. Okay, so when we come upon security, the police is very important, because if we are not secure in a nation, then we won't be considered as the developed nation. Okay, so this all how we can distinguish our country is developed or not. Now there are multiple organizations in this world, international constituencies, that determine the particular country is developed or not developed. So let's understand how. So I do have another creative thing with myself, so I would like to share it with you all. Just a second, if I can switch the camera. Okay, I think you all can see country A. Country is written over here, and the total population of the country is 5. Okay, now the total or the national income of the country is 50,000 rupees. Now when we switch it over to country B, the total population is 5 only, national income is 50,000 only. Now are you able to distinguish which country is more developed, which country do have a wider scale of health facilities and all? Are you able to distinguish the countries if these criteria won't be given to you? Come on guys, are you able to distinguish the countries? Country A, I said excluding the situations. Harsh, I said excluding the situations. Could you be able to? Sure, they all said country A. Okay, you all are doing great, but my motto was that would you be able to conclude that these two countries, country A, country B, would be considered as developed or not developed? No. Harsh said no without PCI. Okay, great. Bhavish said no. Kamala said no. Arya said no. Wonderful idea. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. But the organization that uses the criteria of PCI is World Bank or International Monetary Fund, that uses the criteria of PCI. Now let's understand what is PCI. Now PCI is a very simple concept. That means the national income of the country upon the total population of the country. It's that much simple. Which means 50,000 upon number of population, that is 5. So we'll get the answer to be 10,000 rupees. See. Now if we talk about country B, again the average income would be same for all. That will be 10,000 rupees. Now if we see the first case, that is 40,000. The first person earns 40,000 rupees. The second person earns rupees 30,000. The third earns 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 and 4,000. So what we can see in country B, that only one person is earning one person is earning quite higher values. But if we talk about the rest of the 4, they are no more near to the marginal output that was of 10,000 rupees. But in the case of country A, we can see 10,000, 5,000, 20,000, 5,000 and 10,000. They all are somewhere near about 10,000. So we can distinguish the particular country is developed or not. And that the answer that Harsh and I think Shore gave, our correct country A would be considered as more developed country by the criteria of PCI used by the World Bank or International Monetary Fund. Now, what are the other things or the other nationwide concepts used to classify the particular country is developed or not? The other institution is UNDP. Now, I would like to know the full form of UNDP. Everyone, I wanted to know the full form of UNDP. I repeat my question. Full form of UNDP. I think there are some net issues. That's why I'm not able to see all the comments. Full form of UNDP. So I think there is some network problem. So let me tell you the answer. The full form of UNDP is United Nations Development Program. Now what does UNDP does? UNDP. Okay, Kamala gave the answer, United Nations Development Program. Thank you, ma'am, for your answers. Now, it focuses upon the HDI. Now, may I know the full form of HDI? HDI. Okay, Vikas sir gave the right answer. Arya gave the right answer. Harsh gave the right answer. Okay, Bhavish also gave the right answer. United Nations Development Program. Shilpi ma'am also gave the right answer. Superb, guys. You are doing absolutely great. So my next question was full form of HDI. Full form of HDI. Human Development Index. Great, Bhavish Sharma. Human Development Index. Kamala also gave the right answer. Human Development Index. Now what is Human Development Index? Amita Asta ma'am. Good morning, Tushar. Keep it up. Thank you, ma'am, for your support. Now, Human Development Index is a statistic of index that focuses upon or that is concerned about the literacy rate, the gross enrollment ratio, net attendance ratio, and life expectancy, or ultimately we can say the health facilities of the country. Now, I think all these criteria are quite clear to you. You all might be knowing the Shilpi ma'am, Human Development Index, great. Vikas sir, Human Development Index. I think yes sir, your thinking is quite great. It's Human Development Index only. Asta ma'am, United Nations Development Program. Okay. Now, let's come upon the last topic of our whole session, that is of sustainable development. Now, what do we understand by sustainable development? We are sustaining that environment by using development or by developing something. Now, let's take the case of any other sort of thing that is happening. For example, we are overusing water. So ultimately what is happening? When we used to go to wash our hands, what most of the people do, they leave the tap on, and that water that was available to the mankind is actually going into the sewage. And that is not the desirable thing that should happen in a country, because it is the foremost essentiality for us as well as the future generation also. As if we'll waste the water, ultimately we'll only suffer, because in mostly in the parts of Africa or any other sort of country, they faces water crisis. So it's very much important for us, so that we cannot as a whole face the water crisis in the nation. Okay, now this thing we can understand because we are quite aware. But what about those farmers who are over irrigating, seeking that their harvest could be better if they over irrigate, but they don't have the prior knowledge about that thing? Over irrigation will ultimately lead to the depletion of the soil, or ultimately to the nature as well. Because when we are over irrigating something, the topsoil, which is the most important, which is the nutritious soil, is washing away, being eroded. So what is happening? That basic necessity on the current situation is being eroded, as well as the future generation won't be able to utilize that resource. So ultimately we are depleting the nature, undermining the expectation or the essentialities of the future generations. So it is we should always just spread awareness among the farmers, so that they can also understand that these things are quite harmful for them only, as well as it also leads to depletion of the harvest. So what can be the methods that could be used for just stopping that over irrigation? The two methods that are being more popular are either drop method, by which the drop is falling from a particular height to the particular plant, and that's the best way to stop over irrigation. Now the second method that is used by using the sprinklers. Sprinklers are also the best thing that we plant within just okay, some net issues were there, no problem. So we plant sprinklers in the between, and ultimately that sprinklers showers it over to the plants, so which helps in the less use of water, as well as stops. Very confident presentation, keep it up. Thank you, ma'am. I can see Bhavish Verma, this is a really wonderful session to attend. Thank you, Bhavish Verma. Great compliments from both of you. Okay, I was talking about sprinklers. Those sprinklers actually showers upon the plants, so that the harvest could be better. Now here's a bonus fact for you all. The bonus fact is, in the current situation we can see the huge number of deaths are there. But have you ever thought, or have you ever gone to the rooftop at night and have seen the stars? And if you haven't, just today go yourself by at night and see, you will able to see the stars, twinkling stars so brightly. Now, what caused that thing to happen? Atul sir, you're quite late here. Atul sir, very interesting to know. Atul sir, I was waiting for you to come, the man of far visions of mathematics, god of mathematics. No problem. So I was talking about the stars. Now in the morning when you wake up at 5 or 6, you are able to feel that quality of the air you're breathing. It is quite fresh, it's quite cold air, that cold breeze is flowing in the morning. Have you ever noticed? So that thing has actually caused due to when we have stopped the economy, or whenever the economy of a particular country or the particular nation falls, that area develops or increases the quality of the environment. That is the thing I wanted to tell you all, that the economy is inversely proportional to environment or the quality of the environment. Naman Bharadwaj, very well done bro, thank you bhaiya. So I was talking about whenever the economy increases, the quality of the environment decreases automatically. But whenever the economy is decreasing, as we can see everywhere there is shutdown, no use of vehicles, industries have shut down. So what is happening? The economy is being decreased, but the quality of the environment is doubled. I think that's increased either 4 times or 5 times. The recovery of the ozone layer has become faster, and we are able to feel the fresh air. So I think air pollution. No, Bhavish, if you go in the morning to your rooftop, you will feel that there is no more air pollution over there. So I think you haven't gone to, if you haven't gone, okay, some more comments. Anubhav Shukla, fantastic session, confidence is nice, keep it up. Harsh Singh, talking in economic term bonus, okay. So that was the thing I wanted to tell you all. So I think we are running out of time. Okay, we have exceeded the time limit. It's 40 minutes till now. Okay, so I would like to end the session by saying this. As we all know, it's quite a hard time for all of us. But somewhere down the line, we have to consider ourselves as the soldiers at this time. Not on the borders, but we are actually the soldiers who are sitting at our home fighting against the most devastating cause, that is the coronavirus. And I think एक दिन फिर मुस्कुराएगा इंडिया, एक दिन फिर मुस्कुराएगा इंडिया. So guys, till the time, stay tuned, goodbye, Jai Hind or Vande Mataram. Thank you for attending the session, and I'll surely reply if I've missed any of the comments. So Mrityunjay said great session and pleasure to attend this session. Thank you Mrityunjay, thank you to all my viewers who have attended session. Okay.